video, I'm going to be talking about making basic roofs, the basic process to make a roof, and how you can edit them and change them to fit the design you want to make. So right here, I have a little house for us to practice some roofs on. It's really simple. I could have just made a box, but um, yeah, that's going to do. So um, the roofs can be found right here. Yours probably looks like this. It shows the roof with A. If you click the drop down, there's a lot of different options: build roof, roof plane, ceiling plane, all these different options. Um, but if we go to build roof, that's going to bring us up this dialog box that we are going to work with um, for making a roof the easiest way possible. So first you have to check the build roof planes if you actually want anything to be built. The auto rebuild roofs pretty much means that if you change the way the walls are or something like that, it'll automatically rebuild the roof so that it stays on top of the walls like it's supposed to be. I'm going to leave this box unchecked because if you check the box to auto rebuild roofs, it doesn't actually let you edit the location of your different roof planes, which I'll show you later. Um, so the other big part of the roofs is the pitch right here. And what the pitch is essentially the angle of the roof. And when it says angle and you says 6 inches, that might be a little confusing. But this thing here where it says in 12 is essentially explains how that works. So if you put in 6 inches here, that means for every 6 inches you go up, it's going to go 12 inches along the horizontal plane. That's why it says in 12. So you can think about it as rise over run. So the rise is what you're putting in 6, and then the run is going to be 12 no matter what. So if you do 12 and 12, then it will go at exactly a 45-degree angle. If you do 6 and 12, it'll be half of a 45-degree angle. And it's usually done like this in inches just because it's easier for construction. So for this one, I think I'm going to do the default, which is usually 8 inches and 12. This is overhang. That's pretty self-explanatory. That's how far the roof goes over the edge of the wall. Um, and there's a bunch of other settings here, but for the most part, you can leave these default if unless you know exactly what you want. Like if you want to change the gutter or a cap or something, you can do that. But you usually don't mess with that if you're just making something simple. Um, Another thing you can look at is under the structure tab, the surface. So if we edit this, this is what the actual shingling is going to be made of, or whatever you choose for the roof. So right now it has asphalt shingles, so let's change it to maybe a tile roof. Let's do this type. And I don't know, we'll go with the whitewash. I've used that before. Okay, so now we've changed what the tiling is going to be like on the roof. And there's one more tab that's really important, is the roof styles. So these are all the different types of roofs that you can build with this automatic roof building tool. Um, the hip roof and gable are two of the most common, but there's obviously a bunch of different kinds. You can experiment them to see what you want. So the hip roof is going to be the one that I'm going to do right now. So click OK, and then it'll automatically build the roofs, which is that green dotted line. So if I drop in a camera view, you will see we have a roof now. I didn't change this part right here to be the same material, but I'll show you how to do that a little later. If you remember from the last video, you should know how. But yeah, now we have a roof. But if you want to edit the roof in here, it's kind of confusing because there's all this clutter with what's in the house. It's really hard to see the roof. So we can go up here in the layer sets at the top of the screen. And we can change it to the roof plan layer set, which removes a lot of the clutter of the inside of the house and allows you to focus on the roofs. And here it actually shows the gutter and other things like that and the pitch on the roof right there. So let's say, for example, you looked at this and you're like, I don't know, I think that roof is too tall. I want to make that shorter, which means the pitch needs to be lower. We can come back and go to the build roof, and we can check that box, and maybe we bring this down to 6 inches, or I'll do 4 inches, and click OK. And now you see this has changed to 4 and 12, and we'll look at it here. Now it's much shorter. So again, like we did in the previous tutorial, we're going to use the material eyedropper tool right here to change these little mess ups here. So we just click them and then they will disappear and become the same color as the other ones. So now it looks normal, so that's good. We can select off that and go back here. So now we'll talk about editing the actual form of the roof. So let's say you don't want this roof, and I'll pull it up here. Let's say you want a gable roof. So what we're going to do for that is I'll take these end pieces of the roof, and you can just select them and delete them. And then we'll select this one side, and we can click and drag points on the roof to bring it all the way out. It just acts like an anchor point, and then you drag that all the way out to the edge, and that's one side. And I'll do the same with the other side. And you'll notice that it's actually going to keep its properties from before, so the pitch stays the same and the material stays the same and everything. But now if we go back to the camera view, we have a completely different type of roof. You can see it there. It still has the overhang and everything. And so that is an example of how you could do a different roof. And I will delete both of these now, and then I'll show you another option for building roofs. If you don't want to do the automatic, you can just draw roof planes with this tool here. It's called the roof plane. So essentially you click at one point and you drag across the entire length of the building, and then you pull back after you let go of the mouse, and then it shows you how long you want the roof to be. So let's just say that's what we want, and maybe we want a flat roof. So I'll select the roof, go into the Object Editing tab, and we'll change the pitch to 0. But in this, you can also change it to degrees if you wanted to do that. So we'll click OK, we'll go back to the camera, and now we see that the roof is completely flat. So these are the few different ways to make roofs. There's obviously more. You can be creative with your roof planes. Another tool that's used that I use a lot is the skylight tool. It's pretty simple. Just click skylight, and then you get these little boxes. You just click them all over the place. Like on many other things, you can change the width, change the length. You can go into the object settings. You can change the width and the length here. You can change the materials if you want to change the frame or the glass if you want to make it like polarized glass or something, the tempered glass, whatever. Um, so there's all those different options, and those look like that, just like normal skylights. And then from the inside, they make holes, automatically make holes in the ceiling so that you can actually see through. Kind of lost. There we go. So that is what those look like. Very useful if you're trying to create good solar or good eco-friendly designs, allowing natural light in. But that is going to conclude the video about roofs.